This just in, something is up. Now, we do not know the details. This much we do. The State Department closing foreign embassies all over the Middle East, responding to what we're told were some unspecified threats, but serious enough that out of, quote, an abundance of caution, you've heard that before, well, they're shutting them down. But it got us thinking here, could these have been the same threats, the same chatter, the same noise we heard before the attacks on our Benghazi compound some 10 months ago, attacks that left our ambassador and 3 others dead, attacks whose timeline Fox and pretty much only Fox relentlessly followed to understand how an administration could have missed all the signals, all the noise, or worse, blatantly ignored them. Now, such questioning was deemed silly, even phony. Well, nothing phony about this threat, apparently very real and alive and well in the Middle East now. So, what has changed since? What has changed now? Let's ask Celia Bigelow and Lieutenant Colonel Bob McGinnis. Colonel, what has changed now?
Well, obviously, Fox has exposed some terrible problems that we had in not defending our consulate. Our consulates and our embassies have been attacked all over the world at various times. Tanzania and Uganda back in '98, and then, of course, more recently. We have probably some NSA intel, some SIGINT that suggests that there's some sort of collaboration among these franchise groups. It may have something to do with the end of Ramadan here coming this coming week and a variety of other activities. They smell some blood in the water, perhaps some weaknesses that we've demonstrated, and now, out of abundance of caution, as you indicate, Neil, we are going to close things down. And I suspect what you probably will not see, but is happening, is we're staging forward in the European and the African area of operations, as well as the Central Command. We have special operating forces ready to go to the aid of some of these embassies. Of course, you won't find that out until after something's happened. I
wish we had done that in Benghazi, but that was then. This is now. Celia, one thing that's interesting, what comes up in all these reports, and you guys certainly know far more than I do, but I do see the name Al-Qaeda popping up again and again and again.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, exactly. And I want to know your take on that.
Well, it's very interesting because this is an opportunity for the State Department to dig themselves out of the hole that Fox News and other media outlets have blown on this scandal. And the fact is that if you look at the press release released by the State Department this time around, they're not afraid to mention the name and the words Al-Qaeda. And, quite frankly, this is an opportunity for them, even if something doesn't happen, to say that they at least warned the American people that this was a possibility this time around.
And by the way, we know at the very least, Colonel, and so much they're still not saying about Benghazi and what happened or didn't happen and what chain of command knew and did not know, but certainly they were loath to mention Al-Qaeda or even the word terrorist at that time. Very different this time. What do you think changed?
Yeah, well, Benghazi, of course, they had the Al-Qaeda flag flying beforehand, and all the indicators were there. We've become sensitized politically to how this can really backfire, Neil. We saw what happened in Algeria following the Benghazi catastrophe. We've seen how Egypt has imploded. We've seen, what's happened in the Negev, the Sinai. We've seen Syria come apart because, to a large degree, I would argue, that we ignored it for 2.5 years. Iraq is disassembling, and of course Iran is feeling its oats with regard to how it's intimidated us with the help of the Russians in the Med. So one thing after another. This is sad.
I saw again images of burning Barack Obama in effigy and rowdy extremist groups acting up in any one of a variety of countries. And I said they did the same to George Bush. And I'm sure through the eons they've done the same to a number of U.S. presidents. It's like nothing changes. Nothing changes.
No, nothing ever changes. This is honestly just a ploy for this administration to, like I said, dig them out of this hole, because Fox News and other media outlets have been willing to blow the lid on this administration and the lies that they were telling. And honestly, I honestly think that the work that Fox News has done, we will find answers as to what happened on Benghazi. And this is just a media ploy by this administration to cover their tracks on their past mistakes.
Well, I will give a tip of the hat to the Colonel here, because he was a doubting Thomas from the very beginning and refused to be silent on the matter. So the good that could have come out of it, Colonel, is that people are at the very least more attuned to what you warned about.
Well, that's true, Neil. And what I hope now doesn't happen is that we don't put our young people, whether they're in the embassy or our young combatants, at unnecessary risk. You know, these people we're fighting, and we've been fighting for over a decade, they're killers. You know, we should not hold fire when we know these people, you know, where they are, and we ought to pursue them, like the Benghazi people that are still on the loose, that are probably going to stage another hit if they're given the opportunity in Tripoli against that consulate. You know, we know a lot of these people. We need to go after them, and we need to pursue them until they're removed.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely.
bottom line is they don't seem to like us. Colonel, Celia, always good seeing you. Thank you. Let's
Thank
hope
you,
it's
Neil.
all safe this weekend.
Thank you.